having complicated music is not important at all. Like sometimes it happens with my pieces, but I also now wrote like 2 really simple ones, and they're as good as the other ones. So I think as somebody who composes, you have to make a difference between like things you really like and things that like satisfy your ego as a musician, because you want to make like really cool stuff and really crazy stuff. But sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes it's also just good to just play one beautiful C major and it's fine. So it's always a balance, maybe.
Okay. So which is the song that satisfies your ego the most?
Good question. I think it's the Avishai I wrote. Do you know it? It's so that's one, because it satisfies my ego a lot, because I wrote it when I was studying, and I had this goal. I want to write a piece that sounds like the Avishai Cohen trio. And you know, a trio are 3 people, so it's quite a challenge. And then I wrote this piece, and then I played it for a teacher. And then my teacher says like, yeah, it's quite good. It sounds already a lot like Avishai, but it would be cool to, because Avishai Cohen also has quite a good use of the drum set, and has some percussion, and actually if some percussion would be in there, it would be even more cool. And I was like, but do you see what I'm playing here? How can I drum? It's like there's no space. I cannot do this. And then he said, but maybe try, maybe it works. And then it took me like a month or something, and then I had some percussion in there, and I was so satisfied, because I never thought it would be possible, actually. That was like such hard work to write this and then learn this from the paper. And I was like playing it in such slow motion to be able to get it right. I had to like, sometimes now I have to like pluck strings with my left hand to make sure I can like do a drum kick with the right hand, and it's like multitasking, and it's very hard to play the piece. So that one satisfies me a lot, and I'm very happy that I also like the piece musically. So it's still a beautiful piece, I think. But it's very freaky.
It is, yeah.
And I think it's the one that satisfies my ego the most, but it's not the one I like the most. So that's for sure.
I was actually expecting Perpetual Mobile.
Yeah, that's close. Maybe that's
my favorite
place. Could be the second place. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have 2 more right now, 2 new ones that I didn't release yet, that are going in that crazy direction, and that, but I can show you when I release them and recorded them.
When are they coming out?
With a new album. So I think next year. I still need to write like 3 more solo pieces to have enough for a solo album. I don't want to hurry with that. I just want to make it as good as I can. So I think next year is realistic.
Okay. Speaking about Perpetuum Mobile.
Yeah,
it's Perpetuum Mobile, right?
Yes, so you can say it in all kinds of different language. It's Latin language. So how do you pronounce that? I have no idea myself.
Okay. How is that even possible? That was crazy. How did you come up with the whole idea?
Actually, the idea was inspired by another guitar player. His name is Christian Buchmann, and he has this composing style where like one thing is like one riff is like going on and on and on, and it's never stopping, and he does like a lot of other crazy shit at the same time and on top, and it was very inspiring. And then he played some pieces there and was like, what is he doing? I've never seen that. And then like tapping on the nylon string, and then like 2-hand tapping stuff, like what I saw from electric guitar players before he did on the nylon string. And then I noticed that there was like this riff concept he had in some of his compositions, and I thought like, it would be cool to check that out, but I don't really want to like only analyze it. I'm just checking that out by writing my own piece that works like that. So I made this riff I could play with one hand, and then it was like, it turned out to be the same thing with Avishai. I thought like, okay, I just take this as a technical exercise. It's good for the left hand, but I don't know what I can do with this. It's nothing more. But then I had these very motivational teachers actually who were like, yeah, but if it would work, it would be so cool. And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I should try again. And then I wrote it on paper, like actually on the laptop, I think, because I could just copy paste the riff like 100,000 times. And then I could just put on like some chords and melodies. And I just figured out to work with the melody, and then learned it like totally in slow motion. And but at some point I got like closer and closer. I was like, oh, maybe this is actually possible.
Wow.
And then it took me, I think, 2 years to really finish this piece, because then I had this melody on top, but then it still was like no composition. It was just a riff with a melody on top, but then it had no like dynamics and story and whatever. It was just a like 2 minutes thing. And then I had the idea to put like the riff, like to imitate the riff with the percussion, and like and then it sort of, I found like this door to go through to continue the piece with the percussion. So it basically has 2 parts. And suddenly there was like 4 minutes, and I was like, oh yeah, but now I just need a good intro and outro, and then I have it. And then when it was finished, it still took me a lot of months until I could actually play it and do it on stage. So it was so much work. But it's fine, and I'm happy to have this piece, and a lot of people ask for it when I play it in concerts. So I think I always, like, there was no concert in the past years where I didn't play it, because I have to now.
Yeah.
But I actually had the idea to maybe write Perpetuum mobile 2. But I didn't start yet. I have no idea. I need to find another good riff, maybe something in the melody, and play now some melody in the bass and whatever. I have some ideas, but I didn't start with it yet. Could be like a series that I could like switch it around, like next year start playing Perpetuum mobile 2 instead of 1.
So the guitarist that you get inspiration from, is he on YouTube?
He is. Yeah, he has a few videos. I can send you a few.
I need you to spell the name though.
Yes, sure. Yeah. I will help you. Just after this call, I send you a message.
All right.
I make a note here right now.
Okay, I have a bunch of questions here from my students. Hope we can go through all of these in time. Do you think
I still have 1 hour, so it's totally fine until I have to teach myself.
All right. Okay, what's your advice on choosing the right guitar?
My advice, I think my only advice would be to not just order them, but go into a music store where they have like a lot of options, and just try everything until something feels good. I think also as a beginner you will notice. It's sometimes you cannot really explain what it is, but sometimes you feel connected to a guitar, and you don't know why. And it's different for everyone what fits. And it's not about the price. Like if you want to buy an expensive guitar, like that doesn't make sense. You want to buy a guitar that fits you, and then you see later if it's expensive and you can afford it or not. But sometimes a cheaper guitar is the better choice. You never know. Just try and try and try. I also, like, before I got my main nylon string guitar, it took me 2 years to find it. I had the goal to find a good nylon string for the stage, but I tried like a lot of things, and I had a few other guitars that were very close, but I thought like, it's not that inspiring yet. So there will be something that's better. And at some point it happened, and I found it just when I didn't expect it. I was just on an exhibition, actually on my own festival. I had an exhibition, and then a guitar builder, Christina Kogler, she had a prototype from her nylon string guitar. So it was like her first nylon crossover she ever built. And I took it and just wanted to try it. I was like, whoa, okay, now we're talking. So sometimes when you don't expect it, it just comes.
Okay.
Then you
What's
find
what's the brand called?
the woman who builds it, she's from Austria, and her name is Christina Kobler. She's just building guitars by herself, and not very many. I'm not sure, maybe 8 per year or something. So she builds incredible steel strings as well. And so she's sometimes you have like luthiers who are very focused on, like, they build crazy good classical guitars, but the steel strings are not very good, or the other way around. But Christina is like, no matter what she builds, it's crazy good, and I really love her instruments. And I now have 2 nylon strings from her, and I'm really happy. I can't wish for anything else.
It's not a classical guitar.
It's like halfway in between somewhere. I can show you. Actually, it looks very much like a classical guitar. Of course, it also is. It has a cutaway, which is not very typical for classical guitars, and it also has quite a strong top. So it's of course good for percussion, but it's also good for amplification. Like if you have a very thin top, like a classical guitar, then sometimes you get like you would get even more feedback frequencies you have to deal with, and it's sometimes it's not very easy to amplify them really well. And I have in some pieces, as you know, I have quite a percussive style, so I really needed that. It makes the guitar quieter when I play it acoustically, but that's okay. So it's still sounds very beautiful. It's just a little bit quieter. So that's the biggest difference to a classical guitar. And then of course, like pickups and all that stuff you don't have in a classical guitar. But I of course have it. So, and the measurements are also like sort of in between. Like a classical guitar has maybe like 55, 57 millimeters 55, here. And a steel string like 44, 46, and this one's
how much? I just lost the sound.
Just 50.
50,
exactly 50. So it's in the middle, and so you actually can play classical music on it. It's still wide enough, but it's also not so wide that you struggle with like more modern techniques you need for fingerstyle. So it's quite nice to have this thing in between both worlds.
Oh, okay. So you didn't custom order for yourself. It was there, and you tried, and you loved it.
Mostly, yes. I think we changed maybe a few measurements or just a few tiny details, but it's still very close to the prototype I tried before.
Oh, okay.